Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this broadcast. It is Friday evening. Hopefully, you're doing something fun. Rachel, Carmine, and I are leaving on vacation tomorrow. We're going to Cape May, New Jersey. Who knows? Perhaps I'll see some of you down there. I have largely finished packing. The only things that I haven't packed are the things that I still need today. For instance, my toothbrush, my book, and a couple of other things. But I learned something yesterday or today, actually. I lose track of because of the overnight hours. What's today? What's yesterday? I learned something today that really took me by surprise. I really did. Okay, now we should be live on Instagram as well. Okay, so today I learned. So we're at my neighbor Tara's, and the children are playing, and one of her children's classmates is over, and her mom is over, and I never met her before, and we're chatting, and this is the way people communicate. And the friend says to me, believe it or not, this is the short version of the story. The friend says, "Oh, you look just like my friend Mike." And she starts, finds a picture of him on Facebook or something, or on Instagram or wherever, and holds a picture up. And I said, no, 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 I don't want to see it, because I know that there's no way that this guy looks like Paul Newman. So if the guy does look like me, I don't want to see someone that's ugly. And if he doesn't look like me, whatever, I didn't want, I'm the self-conscious. So I didn't want to see it. So she turns the picture to my neighbor Tara, her husband Nick, and both of them say, "Oh yeah, that does look like him, but the big difference is that guy's a smiler. Frank's not really a smiler." And I said, "That's not true. I most certainly am a smiler." And I turned to my wife. I said, "Honey, right? Aren't I a smiler?" And my wife Rachel says, "No, that I'm not." I have to tell you, my mind was blown. I always thought that I was a smiler. I always thought that I had a kind of a natural smile. Now my dad, his face doesn't fall into a natural smile. I always thought my face did. So I was very perplexed by this, very surprised by this. Then I don't know. It's very surprising, and it was really. I was kind of unhappy about this, not because they think I'm not a smiler, but because I always thought that I was, and it leads me to think, what else do I think about myself that's clearly not true? If two relatively close friends and the woman I've agreed to spend the rest of my life with don't think that I'm a smiler, maybe I must not be. So, what other misconceptions do I have about myself that I'm unaware of? So, I was really kind of bummed about that. For anybody that's watching this that knows me, if you wanted to comment, I'm not fishing for any. So, oh, are we not live on the Instagram? I don't know what's going on here. All right. So, I see what happens. I don't necessarily see how many people are watching on the Instagram. So, for anyone that's watching that wants to comment, I can't see the comments on Instagram because of the software that we're using. Just let me know if you think I am a smiler or I'm not, because I found that really kind of bummed me out. I do have to say, because I always thought that I was. All right. I thought we had a really interesting program this morning. I thought that Paul Manafort's interview, whatever you think of him, just describing his experiences with the criminal justice system, I thought was absolutely fascinating. And I do hope you will check it out. If you have not checked it out yet, you absolutely need to listen to the podcast. You can go to, wabcradio.com/Frank, or you can just search The Other Side of Midnight in any podcast app, or just search Frank Morano Interviews in any podcast app, and it comes right up. Now, we do have a brand new edition of The Racket Report that is up, which is very exciting, where my guest was where my guest was Jeff Nadu. I keep calling him Nadu, but he pronounces it Nadu, where we discuss all kinds of cool mob stuff. So if you're a fan of mob-related news, do check out the Racket Report. That's my email. But you can listen to the Racket Report same way. Just search the Racket Report on any podcast app. I do not think you will be disappointed personally, although maybe you will. I don't know. I can't speak. That's I did that by accident, but that's the interview that I did with Paul Manafort. I thought he was really quite fascinating as a person, as a political operative, as someone that has gone through what he's gone through in terms of the criminal justice system and everything else. I don't think that I think that it's really an interview worth listening to. So I do hope you will check it out. It's funny listening to that Smile discussion. It reminded me, those of you that are pro wrestling fans will appreciate this. Back in 1997, there's what I meant to show with the Paul Manafort graphic. So that's available now. Check it out. If those of you that are watching, if you want to give a comment as to what you thought of the interview with Paul Manafort, good, bad, or indifferent, feel free to comment, and people are welcome to agree or disagree with you. If you liked it, feel free to send a couple of stars my way. By the way, everyone should feel free to send a couple of stars my way. We're leaving for Cape May, New Jersey in the morning, right after Smerconish. So, all of your stars will be spent on Carmine's ice cream for the week. But it reminded me back in 1997 when Shawn Michaels gave that promo of why he was leaving wrestling and said he had lost his smile, which is a thing that all of the pro wrestlers love to make fun of, that particular promo and that particular speech, because it's such an odd thing for a wrestler in a supposed tough guy profession to say, "Oh, I lost my smile," but apparently he did. So I can't play it for you because WWE would be all over me in terms of copyright infringement, and then I would just read to you a portion of Bret Hart's book where he talks about this. But I lent that book to Ray Raimondi when he was still working at WABC, and he never returned it. That was 2 years ago. So if anyone knows Ray Raimondi, please try and find him and encourage him to return that book. John Imbergio, from the pictures and videos I've seen of you, you're a smiler. Yes, John. Now, what is this? John, who I don't think I know personally, knows me better than my own wife and my own neighbors. I can't believe it. John, if you want to be best friends, let me know. Ellen, who's always very wise, except when she disagrees with me. I think our perceptions of ourselves are often not the same of what others think of us. Exactly. Ellen, you're so right. And now I am realizing this for the first time. I never knew this about myself. I knew that was true of other people. Other people don't view themselves the way that the rest of the world views them. But I never thought it would be true of me. I thought I was so incredibly self-aware that I knew about all my faults. For all I know, I could be the guy that everyone wants to stop talking. I'm always, involved in conversations and stuff, and at parties or wherever. And there's always some guy who won't stop talking. And I'm thinking to myself, how does that guy? It's usually a guy. Sometimes it's a woman, but it's usually a guy. How does that guy not realize that no one else wants to hear the story? How does that guy not realize that no one else wants him to stop talking? Maybe I'm that guy. Reminds me of the movie Rounders, where if you're playing poker, and the narrator says if you're playing poker and after an hour of playing, you don't realize who the sucker is, it's you. Maybe I'm the sucker. Apparently I am. It wouldn't shock me. All right. Ellen says she's listening to the podcast. Yeah, I thought this morning was a particularly interesting show. I hope people will check it out. Barbara Lynn writes Racket Report rules, which is very nice. Hashtag Racket Report rules. Thank you, Barbara. By the way, those of you that are watching, the 11 of you on the Facebook and the 6 of you on Instagram. The lovely Andrea Toro watching on Instagram. Please be so good as to share this. Oh, Kathleen says, you are really not a smiler. Rachel knows. I'm shocked. My brother-in-law, Josh, who, if you heard Thursday's show, he was the other end of that Zell situation. He says, you've got a great smile, and I'd put you at the 50th percentile for frequency in male New Yorkers. You know, Josh, either you're even brighter than I realized, or everyone else is right about you, and you're just as insane as everybody else says. One of those two is true. But so that's where that is. All right. So I'm going to be off next week, as I alluded to. We're going to be in Cape May, New Jersey. Thank you for if anybody has different hidden spots at Cape May that the general population may not be aware of, feel free to put it in the comments, or you can email me. I may not check the Facebook, but I'm usually pretty good at checking email, at least at some point. Email me, frank.morano@redappleaudionetworks.com. I did learn today who is going to be filling in for me. I don't know if it's for the whole week or if it's just on Monday. Any guesses? Any guesses? Oh, the Grossman Files checking in on the YouTube saying, "What's up, Frank?" That is an homage to the Bud, I don't know if it was Budweiser or Bud Light commercials with the guys with the tongue. Bud Light obviously has fallen out of fashion. Now the number 3 most popular beer in America after years of dominance. All right. Yes, John, I do know who's sitting in for me. Do you have any guesses as to who's sitting in for me Monday? I'll give you 3 guesses as to who's sitting in for me Monday. Let's see if anybody guesses in the comments. Sort of a trick question, but we'll see if anybody can guess who it is. Otherwise, I'll tell you in 30 seconds. But it's a great opportunity for, if you've missed any shows, please go back and catch up on the podcasts. Virginia says, "Is Prissy the cat sitting in?" No, come on, Virginia. You're being silly or provocative or one of the two. Virginia's going to be with us in Cape May tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing her. And any of you as well who might be out there as well. But so I don't know who's going to be sitting in Tuesday through Friday on the show. Let me just check Instagram. All right, nobody guessing. But I don't know who's sitting in for me on Tuesday through Friday. But Cindy writes, hope it is Curtis or Mary Walter. It is not Curtis nor Mary Walter. Mary's a good friend, though. Well, a good friend. I mean, she's a friend. We're friendly. We're nice to each other when we see each other. I mean, the 2 times or 3 times that we've met, it's been just a delightful conversation. And she's also been very kind whenever she's been on the radio. But no, it is not Curtis or Mary Walter. But it is, for the first 2 hours on Monday, Dominic Carter. And for the last 2 hours on Monday's show, it's going to be Noam Laden. So we're going to see how that goes. I think they're probably going to still both have to do all of their existing shows, which is a lot for Dominic. So that means he will have 4 straight hours on Sunday going into Monday, because he has a 2-hour show on Sunday night into Monday morning, and then my 2 hours. And then he's going to be back in the afternoon at 3 p.m. So that will be something. Vinny guessed Brian Whitman. I wish it was Vinny. I wish it was Brian. Vinny, shouldn't you be entertaining half a dozen drunk people by now? Is it so boring when I'm not over there that you have to tune in to my Facebook telecasts to get my take on what's happening in the world? Bernhard Lagenfragen is a subscriber. If you want to subscribe, by the way, I would absolutely encourage you to do so. You can become a subscriber, 99 cents a month. It's the best 99 cents a month you're ever going to spend at facebook.com/become supporter/Morano fan. Just ask Ellen, she'll tell you, or Bernard Londenhagen, whatever that person claims his name is. Or there's also another means of subscribing, which I think is a little more intuitive, according to Brandon Lord. Or you can just go to the overview button under the commercials box and scroll down to the bottom and click the subscribe button. No, though, I do not have an RFK Jr. bobblehead. I do have a Jesus Christ bobblehead doll who Paul Manafort referenced in our interview this morning. And I told Paul, and I believe this, that there's no way that Jesus could ever get the Republican nomination because he is far too liberal on social welfare spending. We have a lot of other fun bobblehead dolls. Yep, we got President Trump. We have President Biden. See, I had these two watching the debate with me when we were watching it. It was really quite something, you know. And you had Biden say, "Oh, when I was vice president, I had a 6 handicap." You didn't have a 6 handicap. That's the biggest lie I've ever heard. No. When I was vice president, I had an 8 handicap. Oh, please. I've seen you swing. All right. So now, hopefully, that President Biden is out, but we still have his vice president in. Hopefully, her golf game is not so easily destroyed in terms of fact checks by President Trump and his team, because when they were debating and clashing heads, that was really the one moment of the debate where President Trump seemed genuinely offended rather than just pretending to be offended like the rest of the time. But yeah, I don't have an RFK Jr. bobblehead doll yet. I'd love one. If anyone is looking for an early Christmas in July present for me, I do have a button, which one of you was kind enough to send me. Thank you. One of the things that I'm going to be doing on vacation, I'm going to go through all these tabs here. I'm going to show you some of these tabs that I have. Let me see is there a way for me to show. I can't figure it. Share screen. Here, let me see if I could do this. Here, wait. All right. Can you see all these tabs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You get the point. There are a lot of tabs up there. Oh, can you see the tabs, or you're not seeing them? Well, whatever. You get the point. There's a lot of tabs. So I'm going to try and read 3 tabs a day and close out 3 tabs a day, so that by the end of 7 days in Cape May, which is the sequel, the not as good but often talked about sequel to the film 7 Days in May, which is a phenomenal film with Kurt Russell and Burt Lancaster, and it's one of the best films ever made. They made a remake with what's his name? It's the guy that always does a funny voice. He was in The Last King of Scotland. He was in the remake. See, this is where I think I'm becoming President Biden. He was in the sequel to The Hustler, Color of Money. He's got a droopy eye. He was the narrator on the Twilight Zone. This is going to kill me. He's a black gentleman. This is gonna kill. He had a cameo in an episode of American Dad. Come on. Somebody's got to know it. He was, I think, nominated for an Oscar in The Last King of Scotland. I just have to look it up. Everybody talks about him. I mean, everyone acts like he's such a great actor, and I think all he does is just funny voices and basically the same thing all the time. It's on the tip of my tongue. I gotta look this up. Why can't I remember this? This is going to be so irritating. Forrest Whitaker. Yeah. Oh boy, that's a relief. That was going to bother me all day. It is Forrest Whitaker. Okay, so they made a remake of 7 Days in May with Forrest Whitaker. Not nearly as good as the version with Kurt Russell and Burt Lancaster. But what remake is really? So the sequel to 7 Days in May was 7 Days in Cape May. So I will be literally spending 7 days in Cape May. And I'm hoping to get through at least 21 of these tabs. I am going to try to make it back for some of the wakes or funerals that are taking place next week. If I can't make it back, I want to send sincere and serious condolences to my cousin Palma, whose husband John, my cousin John, passed away, and the wake is on Monday. The funeral's on Tuesday, and I know my mom is going to be there. But John was a great guy, and a lot of you that used to listen to my Sunday show on AM 970 might remember his calls from time to time. He would call as John from Brooklyn, very New York sounding Irishman, a wonderful guy and a big listener to talk radio, and somebody that was just incredibly encouraging of not only my radio career, but honestly everything that I've ever done from the time that I was 4. And my thoughts to his sons and his daughter Lisa as well, but especially my cousin Palma. But Cindy asked the question, will you be visiting Atlantic City from Cape May? Excellent question, Cindy. Excellent question. The answer is, I hope so. Last year, Kevin and Sheila, the longtime companion of excuse me, Kevin and Sean, the longtime companion of Sheila. We visited Atlantic City on the first day we were down there. I am still hearing about that from my wife a year later, how I abandoned them. So it will not be the first day. I promised Rachel we would get in at least 3 beach days before we made the trip to Cape May. I'll tell you what I am looking for. I had some postcards. I found my postcard stamps, but I had some postcards that I found from last year that I didn't get to send. And oh wait, are these them? Are these postcards? No, these are old birthday cards. Okay, whatever. Anyway, I am hopeful. Sorry, I'm hopeful that we can make it there, but we'll see. We'll hope it'll be towards the end of the trip. A lot going on in Atlantic City this weekend, that's for sure. John asked, do you go to the Mad Batter? I do. I love the Mad Batter. It is my second place to go for brunch in Cape May, and probably my second or third favorite place to go for dinner in Cape May. A phenomenal restaurant. That's one of those places, though, John, like a lot of places these days, where you have to give your credit card reservation you have to give them your credit card in order to secure a reservation. So not everyone that we're in the house with could confirm a day that they were up for going to the Mad Batter. So I didn't want to give my credit card until we could do that. So hopefully we'll end up there. Maybe it'll be for brunch, maybe it'll be for dinner, but it's a phenomenal place. Vinny says this is a scene from Spaceballs. My life is a scene from Spaceballs, as you should know. There's only one man who would dare give me the raspberry. So yeah, that's it. All right, Vinny, I'm not sure if my wife's going to be in a mood after a whole day of packing and dealing with Carmine and getting into a debate with me as to whether I'm a smiler or not, if she's going to want to go to bed early without me. And if that's the case, perhaps I will see you if you're still hanging out. Otherwise, I'm going to watch the last 10 minutes of this Ricky the Dragon Steamboat documentary. And I am going to try and get some reading done and some other preparatory work done. Oh, the other thing I'm going to try and get done, in addition to these tabs and postcards next week, and possibly these memorials, including the one for Pat Cooper on Wednesday, which is going to be phenomenal. The one and only Joe Sibilia is going to be doing a Pat Cooper impersonation, which can only end badly. I mean, you imagine that? They're going to a memorial, they're calling it a celebration of life for Pat Cooper, and Joe is going to be impersonating Pat Cooper. And keep in mind, Pat's wife, Emily, his widow, doesn't know Joe Sibilia. So yet somehow Joe Piscopo talked her in to having Joe Sibilia do this Pat Cooper impersonation at his own memorial. Could this end in any way other than total disaster? I mean, of course not. Now, Emily called me and she said, yeah, do you know this Joe Sibilia? I said, sure. No, I know him very well. And she said, oh, yeah, no, I heard he's going to he does a pretty good impersonation of Pat. You think that'll go over well? And of course, and this will surprise no one that knows me. The only thing that apparently will surprise them is that I thought I was a smiler. What will surprise no one that knows me is I was eager to see some sort of a dramatic disaster. So I said, yes, absolutely. I'm sure it'll be tastefully done. Of course, how do you do a tasteful impersonation of Pat Cooper? The only thing I've ever heard him do is yell, which should be great. I mean, it's going to be outstanding. Joe Sibilia is going to be up there saying, and then I found out that Jerry Vale don't care about nobody but Jerry Vale. And yet all these great folks are going to be there paying tribute to him. Hey, if Joey Falco is watching, I am going to get you into that memorial on Wednesday. I haven't told Emily that you're going yet, but by hook or by crook, I will get you and your beautiful wife in. See, that's the kind of guy I am. I always remember my friends. And when we were in Italy 5 years ago, it was right after Rachel and I got married, and Joey was kind enough to get me a bottle of Macallan 18. Oh, delicious bottle. We drank this in the hotel we were staying at. I think it might have been the Leonardo da Vinci, but I don't remember. It might have been I don't remember which hotel it was, but it was in Rome. And Arthur Aidala, myself, Dee's husband, John, and I think even Joe Piscopo, and maybe even Debbie Duhane, we Debbie didn't drink much. We polished through this bottle of Macallan 18 in Rome. That was maybe my favorite night in Italy. And it was just so much fun. So I will always be indebted to you for that bottle of scotch. So I will absolutely get you into this memorial one way or another. Shelley writes, I'm going to look out for you. I rent on Washington Street across from the police. LOL, I better behave. Shelley, are you there next week? Maybe I'll see you around if that's the case. I believe Shelley is a subscriber, so I automatically like her better than everybody else that is not a subscriber. If you want to subscribe, by the way, you can absolutely be so good as to do so by going to facebook.com/become-supporter/Morano fan. It is, people say it's the best 99 cents you will ever spend. Oh, good. So hopefully I'll see you there, Shelley. That'll be fun. I'll you don't have to behave. Please, we'll take all the heat from law enforcement. Believe me, there's a rambunctious 2.5-year-old that is going to be raising hell. Believe me. Okay. Hopefully he sleeps through the night. We just put him to bed and gave him a little ice cream since he was good enough to put away his toys. Although we were playing with these boys. Well, I'll save the stories about Carmine misbehaving for another day. His mother's down here. I don't want her to hear. Shelley says, I'm a big subscriber, and you can't see it in her comment there. It got cut off, but she said it's the best investment that she's ever made. The best investment that she's ever made. John Bianchino, same thing. Best 99 cents ever spent. I think what we'll do, so I'm going to do a couple of these videos in Cape May, New Jersey, from different historical sites, maybe from the World War II Lookout Tower, maybe from the lighthouse, maybe from, other spots. But I'm going to make a lot of them available only just for the subscribers. So if you're a subscriber, you'll get to see everything. If you're not a subscriber, you get to see some stuff, but not everything. So please be so good as to share this video. Please be so good as to click like and to comment. And even though that I've just been met with the disappointing revelation that I am not a smiler, that's that. Vielma Empire. Hey, Frank, just came back to the city, was camping all week. Quick talk about what has happened this week. We'll listen to the podcast. Well, I don't know where to begin. Every day this week has been 4 hours worth of content in terms of news and everything else. So you got to listen to the show. Listen to the show. That's the best advice I can give you. And especially, if you need a break from catching up on, from the different people that are filling in next week. I'm not sure who's in the other days. You could use next week to catch up on the podcast. Definitely listen to this morning's interview with Paul Manafort, though, because he was very good. Please send stars. Oh, here's the other thing. I was going to talk about the Charter Revision Commission, but I feel like nobody other than me is interested in the Charter Revision Commission. But we'll see. Maybe I'll make that a special subscriber exclusive. If you want to hear my thoughts on the Charter Revision Commission and the 5 questions that are going to be on the ballot this year, subscribe. That's the best advice I can give you. All right. Have a great week. Enjoy Dominic and Noam on Monday. Please share this. Please send stars and likes. Please feel free to comment. Any other comments that I need to respond to? Any other questions? Any other questions that I need to respond to? Stacy, happy Friday. Frank, happy Friday to you. Anything else? Yeah, I don't think so. Okay. Virginia says, wait, I may have a bobblehead for you. If it's where I think it is, it's yours. Thank you. Well, who is it? Don't give me a president that I already have. See, I have Ike, I have Hoover, I have Harrison, Benjamin Harrison. I have Thomas Jefferson, although Thomas Jefferson's feet are severed. I think that's a Carmine special. I've got to glue him. I have LBJ. Who else do we have? We have Warner Fussell. He was not a president. Unfortunately, he should have been. Franklin Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, Grant, Pete Alonso, also not a president. He should have been. Although I don't think Pete's old enough. Maybe that's why he hasn't been president. By the way, can we talk about that? How exciting have the Mets been? Have you ever seen a team like this? First, for starters, beating the Yankees, then the come-from-behind win against the Braves yesterday, and now what they're doing tonight, they're leading 8-3 against the Braves. This is a team that's almost unbeatable. It's incredible. Absolutely forgettable. It's just incredible. Okay. Any other questions? Wear your sunscreen. I always do. Stacy, have a great weekend. All right. Catch up on this morning's podcast and all the rest of the week's podcast. If you didn't get a chance to listen, I certainly hope you do. And I appreciate you watching. Those of you that watched, please share this. Those of you that listen to the show, thank you. Catch up on the Racket Report as well. Until I come back from Cape May, I'll see you on the radio.